Okay, I made this recording last night for the videotape today, and then I found out today that it was blocked because the video that I thought was really completely fun and cool was copyrighted. So they blocked my video, and so if you've been trying to get that video, that's why you haven't been able to see it. So I'm going to record my video onto here, but I'm going to skip over the place where that video is. So without further ado, I'm going to be in two places at once. It's going to be pretty cool. Here we go. Share. Here we go. Hello there, ladies and gents. This is still week 3 for now, and day 2. And as promised, we are talking about air pollution today. The first thing I'm going to show you, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into a video. I don't know if you remember when I told you when we were talking about water filtration, about these videos that were made in India that has this character in it called Dr. Binox. And he is this floaty blue blob with binoculars for eyes. And he's got this mustache thing that goes over his mouth, but at the end of the mustache are his hands. So crazy. But I wasn't able to show you the last video about water pollution, but I'm going to show you the video about air pollution. Pay attention. No, I'm not. And we'll talk some more about Okay. I'm going to zoom right through that. Look at him. He's crazy looking. There we go. What air pollution actually is. I wanted to let you know that we were talking about particulate matter yesterday. And so when we're talking about pollution, it is particle pollution. So these are things that, generally speaking, are going to be smaller than we can see, for the most part. Let me, I'm going to bring up here a PowerPoint real quick. That's going to I'm going to explain a couple of things for you. Okay, so this is going to just talk about air pollution and what it is and where is it and why is it, and hopefully in our experiment and also in our reflection, we can talk about why we haven't taken the steps that we need to fix this situation. So first off, air pollution. What is it? Well, I can tell you first off what it is not. It is not the natural components of our air that we talked about yesterday. It's not nitrogen, oxygen, argon, and water vapor. So it's the stuff besides that we're throwing into our air. What it could be is anything from smoke to pollen to dust to chemicals from fires, exhaust from cars, soot, acids, etc. One thing that I want to make sure that you know is that for the most part, what we're talking about is stuff that is smaller, like I said, smaller than we can see. And so if you ever get into a class as a high school or college student where you're talking about particulate matter in specifics, you'll be talking about a measurement called micrometer. And most of the pollutants that I just talked about are smaller than 10 micrometers. And to give you an idea of what that means, a grain of salt is about 90 micrometers. Your hair, the width of your hair is anywhere from 50 to 70 micrometers. And so when we're talking about dust and pollen and mold, these are things that you cannot see with your naked eye. You'd have to see it with a microscope or even a neutron microscope because they get to where they're like as small as 1/10 of a micrometer. Okay. So that's not what was supposed to happen. I made this all pretty and everything. Okay, so now air pollution. Where is it? Um, it's actually pretty much everywhere. Some places are worse than others. And what I want you to know, you who are residents of the Central California Valley, um, that Fresno, right in the middle of the valley, right about here, right there, has the fifth worst air pollution in the country. It's bad here. Um, we have higher instances of asthma and breathing problems than just about anywhere else in the country because of that. And there are reasons for that. One is because we are an area that deals very largely in agriculture. We have one of the largest agricultural areas, and it is a year-round enterprise, so it never stops, and that contributes a great deal to what we're putting into our air. So one thing you should recognize is that we have one of the biggest transportation corridors that goes right down the middle of the valley, and we're constantly transporting what we grow into and out of this valley because we supply much of the country and a lot of the world as well with what we grow. So it's transported via truck, via train, via ship, and via airplane. But we are, heavily invested in this agriculture, and agricultural pollutants are many. If you have an agricultural enterprise, probably you do a lot of burning in the spring because there is a lot of waste products, waste organics that gets burnt. So that puts pollutants up into the air. Constantly, whenever you are plowing the land, that generates a lot of dust up into the air. Whenever you are spraying your plants, we talked about that last week with the herbicides and the pesticides and the fungicides. A lot of those are applied using large sprayers that are from the ground or actually flown over with a plane. And some of that, most of it does hit the ground, but some of that stays up in the air. So there are a lot of things that cause the pollution, that actually cause the pollution to begin with. But one of the reasons that the valley stays polluted in our air is because it is a valley. We live basically in a bowl. So you can look at this map and see right there, that is the Great Central Valley. The top of it right up here is known as Sacramento Valley, and this is the San Joaquin Valley. A lot of times if you're watching the news, they're going to talk about North Valley and South Valley. Not only that, because we're in this depression in the state, but guess what, guys? It gets even worse because we're surrounded by these pretty ginormous mountains. Up here in the north on the eastern or the western side is the coastal range, and that goes all the way down the side of the valley. And then on the eastern side in the north, we have the Cascades that meet up with the big giant Sierra Madres. Yeah, Sierra Nevadas. There we go. And those help, just basically they're walls that keep the pollution inside. And so where in a lot of places, like, the video talked about how LA gets polluted. Well, they generate a lot of pollutants because they're always driving, etc. But there's a lot of wind that drives it out of the area. It dissipates it and drives it out. So even though it gets polluted, it doesn't stay polluted like it does in the valley. So if we know what causes it, why haven't we fixed it? I don't know. I don't know. I have no answer to that. So that's something that I think we should be talking about when we were doing our experiments and we were reflecting about what we find out. I mean, look at this picture right here. One of the other big polluted areas in our world is in Japan. This is Beijing. This is a freeway in Beijing. This right here is our industrial farming. You can see all the dust that is being generated from their plowing and harvesting. And then one of the biggest pollutants out here in the valley is our dairy farms, because cows generate a large amount of methane gas. And methane gas and CO2 are two of the biggest greenhouse gases that we have to contend with. Now, when I talk to you guys on Thursday, I'm going to be talking about something called half-life. We generate far more methane gas than we do CO2. But CO2 is the bigger danger because it stays in our environment a whole lot longer. And we'll talk about what that means on Thursday. So we've got problems to solve, guys. And it's going to be up to you, scientists of the future, to see if we can't figure out how to fix this. And maybe our conversations can be the start of that. So we'll see you tomorrow in our experiment. And yeah, have a good day. Okay, so that was the redux of the video that I cut last night. Sorry that I couldn't include that in video, but if you show up to the experiment tomorrow, I'll show it to you. Okay, that's it. Sorry about the mix-up. Sorry if you tried to come to the video and you couldn't find it, but it's there now. And thanks for watching. All right, bye.